evening, everybody. Debbie here from Craftywafty, and tonight we are going to carry on with the Christmas album, or as I like to call it, the big one. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sat here in my craft room. I've got two heaters on. I've got a blanket on my lap because, trust me, it's a little nippy out there. So let's just, I hope we can zoom through all of this, and then we can sort of get tucked up under the duvet later on, in nice and cozy, maybe with a cup of hot cocoa, I think is where we're going to be aiming for this evening. Anyway, so the Christmas album. Now, last week, if you missed part one, it is on Facebook. I'll be honest, I had a few issues trying to upload it on to YouTube last week, so I'm hoping to have another go at it tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to get part one and part two up on there anyway. But you can obviously sort of go back through on the craftywafty.co.uk and the Facebook page and have a little look, and then obviously you'll be able to see the instructions for this. So what I wanted to do was just show you the pages we're going to do tonight, because last week we made the base album, we made the hinges, and we made 4 of the pages. Tonight we are aiming to make at least 5 of the pages. So if I just go through and show you the ones that we're going to do tonight. So one of the ones we're going to do is this acetate pocket, which has got a bit of a gusset to it, like so, and you can see the paper behind there. So that's one that we're going to do. We're also going to have a go at doing the fold back one. Okay, so we're going to do that. We did the pocket last week. We're going to do the envelopes, so that one is one for tonight. We did the double doors last week, so we don't need to worry about that. We're going to have a go at doing the acetate side pocket. Okay, and we did the flapper one last week, and we're going to do, oh no, we did the index one last week as well. We're going to save the W fold for later, and let's just have a flick through, and then we're going to do this little one here with the little mini stack pocket, and obviously the bigger pocket at the bottom. So that's what we're going to do on that one, and I think that's all I'm sort of planning for us to do this evening. So 5 pockets. So yeah, the pocket and mini stack, the gusset photo one with the acetate. We're going to do the vertical side acetate pocket, the fold back page, and the double envelope. So this is just starting to build up our range of pages. Okay, so let's just pop that out of the way so it doesn't get in my way of what we're doing. So just to recap, our page sizes are 7 3/4 inches by 7 1/4 inch, and you would need 10 of those for your album. So it's just recapping from last week. And what we do is on the 7 3/4 inch side, we just score 1/2 inch down one side, and this is the part that's going to attach to your hinge once we put all the pages together. So just wanted to sort of recap on that. And I think what we're going to do first of all tonight is the fold back page. Nice simple one to get us started, I think. So what I'm going to do is I want to do the fold back page but on the other side. So because obviously we've got double sides to these pages, so score down the left hand side, we're going to flip that over so now it's on the right hand side, and that is how I'm going to attach my page to that. Okay, so let's make a start. Get my little scoreboard out. Now this page is 7 1/2 inches by 8 inches. You only need the one. Okay, so and what we're going to do is we're going to score on the 8 inch side, if I remember rightly. Yes, I do believe so. Got to think about this for a minute. What did I put in my instructions? I think my brain's gone a bit freeze, you know, because it's that cold. Yes, right, okay, so we are going to score. Why have I got that? 7 inches, 7.5 inches. Oh yes, 8 drops it down to 7.5. It's all right. I'm just thinking, you know, when your brain's just, it's been one of them days at work, all right? So please forgive me, but we will get there. Okay, 8 inches along. So what we're going to do is 1/2 inch down one side. Okay, and because this is going to be a pocket, I need to come 1/2 inch along here. So I'm just going to turn it round and do 1/2 inch on that side. Okay, and then I do believe, if I remember rightly, I came up on the other side. I'm having a real mental block tonight. You know, you just sort of suddenly think, how on earth did I do that page? I'm just gonna honestly, oh right, yeah, no, I know what I did. It's all right, panic's over. You know, when you create these things and sort of you go into a world of things and you just do it, and then you suddenly like, how on earth did I do that? Right, okay, and here at some point there will be a little 1/2 inch fold coming down this side as well. But at the moment, what I want to do is just cut it and then fold it over, and then we're going to see how that looks. So this is going to fit on our page. So if you imagine there's a scoreboard, this bit is going to be folded in, and then I'm going to want to score a little bit up here. So I do believe, if I remember rightly, I scored up here about 2 inches, but it was 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to flip this upside down. Now on the side, thankfully on here, it's got a 2 inch on the side and the 1/2 inch. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to score up to that 2 inches there. So it's just going to give a rough guide. So when I come to fold that back, it's allowed me that extra fold bit to tuck underneath, if I remember rightly. Okay, did I do that? Oh goodness me, honestly, Deborah, see, the only time I ever use my full name is if I've done something wrong. Let me just have another little look. See, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've done this. Yeah, no, I did fold it. Okay, that's all right. I know what I did. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, and the reason why I'm going to score right the way along that 1/2 inch on there, because I'm going to trim down that corner. Right, okay, there we are. I know what I've done. Right, that's a good start for this evening, Deb. Okay, so as you can see, the 8 inch side along there, I've come 1/2 inch along there, 1/2 inch along the bottom, and 1/2 inch at the top. Now what I did was, is I cut down on the, so if you're looking at it with the plain top that hasn't been scored on the top here, I'm going to cut down, so I'm up, so I've got about 2 inches from the score line here. That's what I did. So let's just get my lovely ruler out, and I'm just going to give it a little mark on here. So I'm going from, so that literally will be 2.5 inches from the bottom, because I've scored 1/2 inch on there. Just going to give myself a little mark point. Do that on there. Use that with the white pencil so you can see that. And I'm literally just going to cut in there, and I'm going to cut that bit out. So let's do that first. So I'm going to cut in up to the score line, and then I'm just going to cut down the score line like so. Trying not to cut my fingers in the process. Okay. You could do this with a knife if you wanted, but obviously tonight is going to be one of those evenings where I'm going to do everything cack-handed. Right, okay, so that is that bit, because that's going to get folded under. I'm going to mitre our corners, but before I do that, let's put the red liner tape on, because then we'll get a nice cleaner finish. So I'm using 9mm on here, and I'm just taking it down the edge there. I'm just going to swap this over. And I'm just going to come along the bottom. God, honestly, this was the easiest page of the evening. I just just had a mental block. I think it's my age, you know. Right, okay, and now we're just going to come down and do this last little bit here. I'm going to take that right up to the point there, like so. Okay, and then we're going to miter the corners. So I'm just going to come in. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting across a diagonal across that point where the score lines cross, but I'm going to come over, cut to that initial cross first, and then I'm just going to do a wonky bit just so that helps make sure it lays a little flat. And then I'm going to come around and do the other side. So I'm going to cut to the score line at roughly a 45-degree angle, and then I'll just do a slightly wonky bit on there. And I'm going to fold these back. Where's my lovely Bernie this evening? There he is. We've got our Bernie burnish, so we're just going to crease that one along there and do these corners, and we're just going to do that one. Now if I've got a slight overlap on this one like I have here, then I'm just going to trim a little bit more off, so nothing to worry about. I just want that to lie fairly flat. So there we go. Let's just fold that down so that folds in nicely across there like so. Now because this is the fold back page, obviously when that sits on there like so, this is then going to come back. Okay, now what I'd like to do is, because I've got 2 inches coming up here, I'd like to sort of come in roughly 2 inches. So I'm just going to measure from the score point again, roughly 2 inches. So it just gives me a bit of a guide as to what I'm doing. Let me get my white pencil. Let's just do a little mark on there. So when I come to fold that back, it gives me a rough idea. Now, the thing about this is that when you are folding this back, I'm going to literally just put my thumb against that, and I'm going to take that back as far as I can. And as far as where that fold is, that's come up on there. And I'm just going to gently crease that down. And it doesn't have to be completely straight. It's meant to be looking like you've folded it back. And once you're happy with that, just come in and score down that like so. Okay, I think I'll come in slightly more, but there we go. I'm happy with that. Yeah, so it just gives you a rough guide to that. If I wanted, I could have brought that over a little bit more, but that's fine. That will do, because it's just meant to be, looks like the page has come backwards. So, and don't worry if it's not completely straight, it just adds to the authenticity of it. Right, so what I'm going to do now is take off the red liner tape, and I'm going to stick this to my page. Now, as I said, the pages normally go with the scored hinge side on the left, but I want this to go on the back of the page, so I've flipped it over. And then we're just going to do this. Now, if I'm doing anything pockets wise, as I've mentioned before, I normally always stick the bottom one down first. That just helps line everything up, and then I can just peel off the rest of it and just stick it and go. And if you're unsure about just gluing and sticking with, certainly if you're using red liner tape, then just wiggle a little bit of wet glue on there, and that'll give you a little bit of breathing space, as it were. So I'm just going to line this up in between the score line and the edge of the paper like so. There we are. So that's coming along the bottom. Lovely jubbly. And then I'm going to just literally undo these, and this one, take the red liner tape off, flip it and stick it. And there we are. Oh, thank goodness for that. I'm glad this thing has finally worked its way out properly. I think I just need to set into me groove tonight. I think it's a cold getting to me brain cells. Right, okay, and I'm literally now just going to pop that down and stick that on, and there we are. So that is our fold back pocket. Okay, now it's up to you. Obviously you can decorate as you go along, or I'm normally going to decorate as I finish. So I would normally sort of tack that down, but because we haven't put any pattern paper on here, we'll leave that till decoration time. But that is our first page done. This is our fold back page. That's fairly straightforward. Getting into my groove now. Right, so let's have a little think. Which one shall we do next? Well, on the other side, I was going to do the gusset photo acetate pocket. So we'll have a little go at that one. So I'm just going to put that to one side. Now, let's just have a little clear up there, because this is the trouble, you see. I don't know about you, but when I'm crafting, everything comes out, and then when I need it, I can't find it. So we're just going to, oh, excuse me, we're just going to do the next bit. And on here, we've got our acetate and our page ready to make the pocket. Okay. So the gusset photo acetate pocket, the black card is 8.5 inches by 7 3/4, and you just need one of those. And then the acetate is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so mine's a little bit dusty. Now in my album I've got snowflake, well, a little snow. Yeah, it looks like snowflakes coming down. But this one I'm just going to do plain, because I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure what paper I'm going to use on this album, whether I'll use Christmas paper or whether I'll use something else. So I'm just going to go with plain for the moment. So I'm just going to pop that over there so I don't lose it. So I don't know about you, when you put acetate on the table, all of a sudden it's there, and then the next minute it's gone and you can't find it. Right, okay, so back to our scoreboard. So on our scoreboard here, we've got, we are going to cut, let's have a little look. We need to trim down and score either side to make the gusset. So I do believe that we are going to do 1/2 inch. So this is, we're scoring, by the way, on the 8.5 inch side. So this has come off a bit. But I'm going to come down 1/2 inch, and then 3/4 inch. Okay, and then on the other side would be 7 3/4. Oops, 7 3/4, and then it would be 8, which is coming right in on that tiny bit. But if I flip that and do that as 1/2 inch on the other side, that will fit in like so. Okay, so you can see I've got this bit is what's going to be folded. I don't know if you can see that. This bit's going to be folded underneath. This gap here between the two score lines is going to be the gusset bit of the pocket, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the bottom. So I'm just going to turn that round, and we're going to do 1/2 inch, and then we're going to do 3/4 inch. Okay, and that is all the scoring that we're going to do on this. And then what we're going to have to do is cut out our middle. Okay, so because I've scored it, I'm going to flip it over onto the bumpy side, because that's where I'm going to mark out the square that's going to be cut out ready for the acetate to go on the back. So I've got, I do believe I came in at 1 3/8 inch, like so. Let's have a little look. 1 3/8. Just line that up at the bottom, and because I'm doing it on the back, obviously when you turn it over you're not going to see that, so we can just roughly do that. So it's 1 3/8. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the bottom, 1 3/8. Just to try and get that lined up. I love this pocket. I think it just looks really quite professional once we've done it. And then I'm going to turn that round, and then we're going to do 1 3/8 coming in on this side. Okay. And then this bit we're going to come down just 5/8 inch, because obviously here I've had to compensate for the score bit that's going to be, and the bits that are going to fold in underneath. So this top edge here, which has got no score lines on, we're coming down 5/8 inch. So where are we? That's 4, so we need to tuck that in like so. and this is 5. So that gives us our square that we are going to cut out. And just to double check to make sure that the acetate is going to fit across that, which it absolutely is, so that's perfect. Right, so let's cut this bit out. And the thing is that using the white pencil on the black, I can see exactly where my lines are. Okay, so hopefully I'll get a good cut with this. So let me just line that up. And I'm going to cut down, but obviously gently does it as I come into the corner, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to come in, and that was 5 and 1 3/8 on there, so I can line it up against there. And I'm going to come into where that corner is and just cut along like so. And we can just pop that corner. Just going to come in and do the other side. 1 and 3. Yes, hello Mickey. That's the cat. No, you can't jump up tonight. I know, go and lie down. I know it's cold. I thought you would be curled up in your little basket. Obviously not. He gets very jealous, you know, does our Mick. Just going to release that, pop that, and then I'm just going to come in on this top one, which was 5/8 of an inch. So even though I've drawn the pencil lines, I'm just using them as a guide, really more for where the corners cross over than anything. Okay, and we can just pop that out and then save that bit, because you might be able to use that for something else, like when making the pockets and stuff. Okay, so there is the first bit done. So we've cut out. Okay, so as you can see on the other side, it looks nice and clean because all the pencil marks are on the back. And we're going to pop in our acetate. So I'm using 9mm, and I'm just going to come all the way around the edge. It's probably easier to stick the red liner tape onto the card rather than try to stick it on the acetate and then put the acetate down. So this is the way that I do it. So I'm just going to run that along, and I'm going to run it along close to that edge as I can, so it will just cover like so. I'm just going to pop that around on there. Let's do this other little bit close to that edge as we can, and just take that up to that edge now. I'm going to come around to do the other 2 corners. Oops. I've got, dare I say, I've got biscuit crumbs on here. I'll be honest, I had a cheeky little jammy dodger before I come on live tonight. So sometimes a jammy dodger is all you need. Obviously other biscuits are available as well. Okay, and then our last little bit, we're going to come along and do this. Where are you? Here we are, the last little bit. Like so. Okay, I'm just going to trim that off as well. So now that I've put that on there, I'm just going to put the acetate on, because I just want to make sure that where I've put the acetate, the red line tape, that this acetate is going to cover it completely, because what I don't want is any of the red liner tape not being stuck to anything, otherwise it's going to stick down the inside of the pocket, if you get my drift. Okay, right, where did I put my lovely pokey tool? Here we are. So let's just make a start then. I'm just going to, I think sometimes you've just got to go for this one, so I'm just literally going to take all the red liner tape off. You don't need to put any glue on, because what we don't want is any glue squishing out onto the acetate, because it's just going to make it look messy. Okay, and I'm just going to take these all the way around. Okay, so that's our 4, that is our top, and with my acetate, because it's a complete square, now it's a little bit, before we stick it down, I'll probably give that a little wipe, But here we go. So I'm now just going to place this, line it over, and now I'm just going to drop that down, making sure that that acetate completely covers that red liner tape. There we go. Beautiful. And the other important thing is as well is to make sure that the acetate doesn't come over the score lines, because when we come to fold this, we need to make sure that we've still got some movability there. Okay, now we've done that, that is our basic pocket front. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we need to fold our corners, and then we're going to trim off a little bit. So we're going to fold onto the bubble. So that's the first fold, and then there's the little tiny fold. It's a little bit fiddly, this, but once we've done that, I'm just going to get the burnish, and I'm just going to run that along like so. So we've now got that fold that's going to come up like that, if you can see. We're going to do the same on the other 3 sides, and we'll trim off the corners on that in just a moment. So score that one down, fold that one along. Nice sharp corners, and then we're going to come along the bottom, and we're going to do the same on the bottom. There we go, like so. Okay, now then, for this bit, this is where we need to have a little look at what we're going to cut out of our corner. Right, are you wanting to go out, Kat? Apologies for a minute, let's just let him out. Come on then, you're coming out this way. Come on then. Right, he'll be back later, meowing because he wants to come in. Oh, okay. Right, where was I? Oh, yes, so this corner bit here, okay. I think probably the best thing for me to do is draw you a little diagram on my little post-it note, just to make it quite clear what we are doing. Oh, that's good, the lead came out of that pencil. Let's have a little look. Here we go. So if we're looking at the pocket from that side, down here you've got one score line, and then you've got the other score line, and then you've got the slightly wider one coming down. Okay, and then you've got exactly the same coming across this side. So you've got the slightly smaller one, and then you've got the longer one. All right, so that is, and then obviously this edge here is our frame bit. This bit here is this little fold or valley, I suppose, along there, and then that gives you a square here, and then you've got these little bits here. So what we're going to do is that we are going to cut out this one, and this one. So you end up, I don't know if you can see, so you end up with just the little square, and then you've got one flap there, one flap there, and then you've got the rest of the frame. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see that, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is the gusset bit. This is the bit that's going to be stuck down underneath to hold the pocket in place, and then you're just left with that little square. So let me cut one out, and then I'll show you what I mean. Let me get my other little scissors. Okay, so I'm literally just going to cut like so. Now the reason I'm doing this and not just a complete mitre is because I want a boxed in effect on the edge of the pocket. Right, let's not quite cut that one off. Come on. There we go, and then just gonna cut in. So you are effectively cutting out the L shape that goes around that little square. Okay, let's just, there we go. All right, let's put those little bits. So if you see what I mean, you've just got that little square bit there. Okay, because when we fold it, what's going to happen is that that little square will eventually tuck inside. So we need to turn that little square into a flap. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut one side of that, because then that little flap will tuck in, and then the other box bit will come over, and then you're going to get that nice neat finish, if you see what I mean. Now, because of that, we'll leave that bit there, but we need to mitre these other outside strips. So I'm just going to cut that one and that one. Okay, so now if I show you, we fold that bit over, that bit's going to tuck in, that bit comes round, that tucks in, and then that gives you that really nice boxed finish. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm going to cut out like the L shape. So I'm going to cut out the L shape. Like so. Cut that out. I just think this gives it a really nice, neat finish. Okay, I'm just going to snip across kind of that side. So we've got a little tiny flap. And then I'm just going to diagonally cut across up to that little flap to give me my mitered corners. And we'll just do the other side as well. Right, let me just move those out the way. Okay. So when we fold this now, we're going to fold that in. That's going to tuck in that little flap in there. And then that comes over that edge. And then you've got that nice, neat finish boxed like that. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to stick that corner down first. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of wet glue on there just to hold that in place, and we're going to do the same on the other pocket. But before we do that, I just want to get the red liner tape on as well. Perhaps I should have put that on before I cut it, but I think it was just, it's all right, we can just work with this. So I'm just going to run some red liner tape along, because that will hold it in place anyway. Let's just cut. I'll just run that along there. So this is going on the outer fold, because this is what we're going to be folding back. I'll just trim that little bit off, like so. And then we're just going to do the other side. So we've got the red liner tape ready, and then literally we're just going to start putting this all together onto our page. I think this is really lovely. Just as I said, it just gives it a really nice finish, having the boxed corner. Looks very professional. So right, I'm just give that a quick burnish. So it's easier to do this bit now than later. Okay, like so. That's lovely. All right, that's going to fold on that. But before we do that, I'm just going to clean up this acetate. I'm just going to give it a little wipe and a dry down. So let's just get, and I'm literally just using a baby wipe. So I'm going to do the inside first. So I'll just give that a quick clean. So, and then a bit of tissue. Just because the trouble with acetate is it is just very, very static. Okay, and then I'll do the outside edge once we've done that. Okay, all right, so let's get this corner pocket done. So just a little bit of glue in the corner, just a little dab there, and we're going to try and do both sides at the same time, because it will lend itself to be folded like that. Okay, so I'm literally just going to tuck that in and hold that like so, and then we're just going to do the same, tuck that other one in and hold that in situ as well. It's a little bit fiddly, but we'll just hold it for a couple of seconds, and hopefully that will catch. just helps when you're about to put the pocket on the back. Okay, I can just sort of go in now and just give that a little push, make sure. So as you can see, I've got a nice neat corner. Oh, that one's just come out. Let's hold that. Didn't hold that long enough. There we go. Nice neat corner on that. And now we can put this down onto our page. So this is a page that is going on the back of. So again, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put it down, and as you can see, that's going to sit beautifully on there. I think before I stick that down, I might just give this a quick little wipe. Well, I can still move it about a little bit. There we are. A little bit of tissue just to get the worst of that off. Okay, so we'll start at the bottom again like we've done with the other pockets. I'm just going to peel that off. Probably not as easy because we've got the fold. There we go. I'm getting my thumb in there. And I'm going to take the red liner tape off the rest, because once we put that first bit down on this pocket, it's going to be a little bit trickier. I'll take the red liner off there. Alright, now then, because this is a little bit fiddly, we're just going to whack a little bit of glue just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. A tiny little bit of glue on there. I'm going to come along and just add a little bit of glue on there, and the same on the other side. It doesn't look very square at the moment, but trust me, once we start sticking it down, it will be fine. Okay, now we've got the page up the right way. We're going to flip this up the right way, and then we are going to go for it. So I'm just going to gently line up the bottom, make sure that's nice and straight, make sure I've got a little bit of a gap from the score line for where the hinge is going to go. That's now dropped down. Okay, and now I'm just going to come along and just tuck in that corner, that one there, just to make sure that that is nice and straight. And then we're going to come round and do the other side like so. Now, to ensure that that tape is down properly, I'm just going to go in with a ruler and just go round and just give it a little push down like so. And there we are. That is our gusset acetate pocket. Okay. Like so. And the nice thing is that obviously then when we come to put our paper in the background, when we put our paper in, we'll line it so it comes up to the top edge of where those folds have come over, so you get a nice neat finish at the top, and it will cover the inside workings of the pocket anyway. So there we are. So that is pocket number 2 for this evening. All right, now when you come to put your frame on and everything like that, obviously you would do exactly the same. You would have a 5/8 of an inch frame all the way round, but we'll go into more detail with that later on. So I'm just going to pop that pocket out the way. Okay, so I suppose our next one, seeing as we're working with the acetate, we might as well do this acetate pocket as well. We'll get this one over and done with. So we're zooming through everything tonight. That's good. And so the papers that I've got, so this is the pocket. I'm going to do it on the back of the pocket for this one. Now the side acetate pocket is 4.5 inches by 8 inches, and the bit of acetate that I'm using is 6.5 inches by 3 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to one side, and again we're going to need to do some scoring and so forth and cutting. So I'm just going to find my lovely measurements that we did for this one. There we are. Right, so I do believe on this one I did a frame of 5/8 of an inch round, but we've obviously got to do the bit at the top and the bottom and the side to make the pocket itself. So I need my little scoreboard. So on the 4.5 inch side, I'm going to score 1/2 inch. So we're just doing 1/2 inch along there. And then on the 7.5, or the 8 inch side rather, I'm going to score 1/2 inch on one side, and then I'm going to do 1/2 inch on the other side. Okay, because this is what's going to make our pocket. And while we're at it, let's put our acetate on there out the way ready. Not our acetate, our red liner tape. Okay, like so. Just going to trim that down and trim that off like that. And then we're going to do the other one like so. I'm just going to trim that one as well. I'm just having a little look now. If anybody's out there watching me tonight, say hello. Put something in the comment, that would be really lovely. Sometimes I do feel like I'm sat here on my own and nobody's out there. But yeah, so do pop along and say hi, that would be lovely. And then I can give you a shout out as well. All right, so let's just do our burnish all the way along here. So that's that bit done. Okay, and then we're going to do our frame. Okay, so for the frame I need to come in by 5/8 of an inch. So again, I'm going to flip that over. So the pencil marks are on the other side. Where did I have my pencil? No, that's not my pencil. There we are. Is that my pencil? Oh, there it is. Right, okay, so I'm going to come in 5/8 of an inch along here. Just line that up at the edge, like so. So you just see that very faint pencil line there. Now, because I've got the 1/2 inch, I need to also add in 5/8 of an inch. So if your maths is good, so 5/8 of an inch plus 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1 inch and 1/8. If my maths is correct this evening. So I'm just going to, and the way I can double check that is I can just run that measurement there. Look at that, you see. My maths is obviously working tonight. And then I'm going to come along and do the same. So 1 inch and 1/8. Here we go. And we're just going to run that along as well. And then I'm just going to do the 1 inch and 1/8 on this side. And that should give us our square or our rectangle to cut out. Okay, and again, like I did with the other gusset pocket, just going to check to make sure that the acetate is going to sit over that okay without any problem. So that's good. Just make sure I've got the right measurements, and I'm going to cut this one out. There we are. But like I said, I always do a pencil line on it just so that I can see roughly where the corners are going to come up, especially when you're working on black card. It's not always the easiest of things to see. So I'm just going to come down as close to that line as I can. I'm going to turn that round, and we're going to do the 1/8 of an inch. Now, if you were watching me earlier, I've had to let Mickey out. He's now sat at the door meowing because he wants to come back in. You're going to have to wait a minute, Mick. Right, I'm going to just do this last few bits here, and then we're going to come down this other one, 1/8 of an inch, like so. That's just down to the point there, and then the final bit we're going to come in like that. what I love is that when you come to create anything, you know, you can just use your imagination. For me, that's the really fun part for me, is sort of what I've got in my head, you know, how I envisage something, and then by putting it down on paper and then actually sort of making it live. This is what I absolutely love. So yeah, so it's all good. Okay, right, so here we are. I'm just going to pop out that tiny little corners. There we go. And that is my acetate frame. Hang on to this. Again, I always keep saying hang on to your scraps, because you might need them for other elements of the album. Okay, so we've got our hole, we've got our red liner tape on, so we just need to put red liner tape around here, and then we're going to fix the acetate to that. So again, I'm just using the 9mm, and I'm just sort of taking that right up to as close as I can to that edge. Okay, I'm just going to snip that like so, and then we'll go around and we'll do the other 3 sides. But this album isn't just for Christmas. I know I've decorated it with Christmas paper, but if you've got a special occasion coming up, I think it would make a lovely like wedding album, or you know, for somebody's special birthday, you know, because then you can put lots of different elements and stuff in there. There we go. Right, let's tuck that in down there. Went a little bit wonky on that one, but that's all right, that will work. Okay, and I'm just going to flip that round and do the last side. And here we are. Okay, I'm just going to trim that down and off. Perfect. All right, so get my little Bernie. Here we go. And just take that off. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the red liner tape, and then we'll line up the acetate and just drop it straight down. So I'm just going to unpeel one. I'm just going to do the next one. There we go. Let's just turn this round like so. And our final side like so. Okay, all right, now we've got our acetate. So as I said, the acetate was 6.5 inches by 3 3/4, just in case you missed that. And again, I think it's covered in cat fur. That Mickey gets everywhere. Right, okay, so again, I need to make sure that I'm covering where I've put the red liner tape. There we go, and that's gone on. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll just go along, make sure that, but using the red liner tape stops, if you were to use wet glue, it could potentially sort of push out onto the acetate, and then you won't get a very nice finish. Okay, right, now to miter the corners. So again, where it crosses over, you're going to come straight across diagonally on there, but I come to the cross and then I just give it a little wonk, and we just trim that off. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just going to come down, give that a little wonk like so. And then we're just going to fold back the edges there, because this is what we're going to use to stick down. So that is the front of our pocket. Okay, but before we stick it down, I'm just going to give this acetate a quick little clean on the inside. Just dry that off, because you do get a lot of static attached to these. There we are. All right, and then just going to peel off the red liner tape. Now, because this is going on the back of the pocket. I want it to sort of stick down on this side here. So I'm just going to turn that edge there, and I'm going to do the widest bit first that I'm going to stick down. Okay, like I would at the bottom of a pocket. So just making sure that I've got my page in the right orientation. I had to think of the word then for a minute. Orientation. Good word, Deb, on a Thursday night. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down. I'm going to line it up, give myself a little bit of a edge to the page. Just going to pop that on like so. Where's me Bernie? Just going to run that along. Okay, and now I'm just going to take off the red liner tape on the other sides, and then I'm going to stick that down. And there we are. I'm just going to do this side as well. So, and then I'm just going to just brush off any bits. Okay, and that's going to come over, and I just gently push that down to make the side pocket. And there we are. All right, and then I'm just going to give that front a quick little clean up. And then we've got our side acetate pocket. I'm just going to crease that down. And it's got a little bit of a bow to it, but I'm quite happy with that, because obviously if I'm popping things inside and out, I want to be able to make sure that I get that. So there we are. So that is our, what I call my vertical side acetate pocket. Okay, so we've done 3 pages so far, and we're doing pretty well with our time, so that's really good. So what we're going to move on to now is our last 2 pockets, and one of these is an envelope pocket, the envelopes, and the other one is like a little mini stack pocket. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the little stack pocket first. Okay, that's just, I love it. I know I go on about these clips, but I really do love these clips. They are just brilliant for this sort of thing when you're organising everything. I just love it, love it, love it. Right, okay, so for the pocket, mini pocket stack, this is where you're going to get on your page, you're going to get a little mini stack pocket here, and then you're going to get a pocket along the bottom. So I'm just wondering which way round I'm going to do this. No, I think I will do the mini pocket on there, and then I'll do the double envelopes on the back. I think that'll look good. And the thing is that when you're doing any of your designs, you know, when you're making your pages up, you can put them in whatever order you want. There's no fast rules here. You know, as I say before, you know, I'm not the page police, so you can, you know, you can put the pages in whatever order you like. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you feel comfortable with and what you want your album to look like. Right, okay, so let's unclip you, and I shall tell you the measurements. So that's my page. Okay, 7 3/4 inches by 7 1/4 inch, ½ inch score down the side. Okay, just as a reminder. Pocket mini stack. So we have got one sheet at 8 inches by 3 1/2 inches. Then we've got one at 4 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches, and then we've got 4 3/4 inches by 2 1/2. Okay, so these are our front bits, and we're going to make our base pocket first. So I'm just going to tuck those little bits there. So with any of the pockets, because it's going to be a horizontal pocket, we're going to do on the 8 inch side, we're going to do ½ inch on one side and ½ inch on the other side, and then we're going to turn it round, and we're going to come along the bottom and do the ½ inch. So that's going to create our pocket. While I've got the scoreboard here, along the long lengths, we're just going to do ½ inch on each side. I'm just going to turn that round. There we go. I'll do ½ inch on there, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on this side, turn that round and do that. Okay, right, okay. Oh, actually, tell a lie. Come back, Deb, you missed one. On the 2.5 inch, I need to come along and do, that's it, one on the bottom. So we've got one mini pocket. Right, okay. Right, so we've got one giant pocket which is going to come at the bottom, and then we've got a little mini pocket. So like we do with any of it, it's going to be red liner tape round the 3 scored lines. So let's get that done. Like so. Just trim those off. And we're going to burnish these. So as I've said before in previous lives and the videos and that I always use the red liner tape for doing the construction. Okay, I just find it's really useful, and it's nice and strong, and it just holds it all together. It gives it that strength that we need. And we'll just do this little mini one. Here we are. I'll click that on. Now obviously if you're making this at home, you can take your time doing these, but we're just popping through these like so, and then we're just gonna do the other one like so, and just trim that. And then while I've got the acetate here, I'm just going to do the 2 ends as well. Or not acetate, red line. I've got acetate on the brain now. Told you. Some of my brain cells are frozen. It is that cold. I hear some people in the country have had snow. We haven't had any, but it's certainly been in the minus down here. -2 it was the other morning. But no chance of snow, I'm afraid. Okay, let's just give these a little burnish. That's it. I'll just do that, and then we're just going to do the other side like so. And that final one, there we are. And then we're going to mitre the corners. So again, you're cutting across the diagonal through where the cross lines are on the score, and then we're just going to give that a quick wonk. Perhaps I should call it a Charlie. We're going to give it, yeah, let's give it a Charlie, like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. We're Willy Wonka. Look, wonk. You see, we're doing it on the wonk. We're going to give it a Charlie. Lovely. Right, okay. And then we're going to come along and do exactly the same. We're going to cut to that cross line and then give it a Charlie. And then we're going to do exactly the same on there. And give that a little Charlie wonk there. Okay. Right. And we're just going to fold back our scored edges and give them a little burnish, and just make sure that they're sitting nice and flat. So I've got plenty on there. On this one, we're just going to fold back on the line as well. Just give that a nice little burnish. Oh, now I'm burning. That's it. Get to work. There you go. And then we've got the big pocket. So let's get the big pocket done. Okay. I'm just going to score that along there, along that edge. There we go, like so. And then the final one. Fab. Right, okay. So now for the assembly part. So as always, we're going to put the big pocket down first, and then the idea is that the little mini pocket will sit there, and then you've got the stacked part of the pocket that will sit up on there. All right. So we'll get our bottom base pocket done first. So as always, I'm going to take the red liner tape off the bottom part of the pocket making sure I don't stab myself in the process. Okay, and then I'm just going to line that up, making sure I've got my score line there because I want this to the front. I'm just going to give myself a bit of a edging on there, like so. There we are, and I can sort of just run that along. Let's get a nice crease on there, and then I'm just going to open that back and do the side pockets. So, looking at what the pockets we did last week as to what we're doing today, it's just really a combination of what I did last week, because obviously I did the pocket, the horizontal pocket, and then I did the stacked pocket, and it's just a combination of the two. I mean, you can let your imagination run wild when you know, by creating your own pages. Once you know how to do the basics, yeah, then you're good to go, really. You know, be creative as you like. I mean, that's basically all I've been doing. I've just been, you know, I see something, I think, oh yeah, that would be nice. I wonder what that would look like, and I sort of have a little play with it, and there we are, you know. And then you've created a different page. Now, what I could do, I could either have my stacked pocket on this side with the little mini stack there, or I could have it on this side. But I'm going to stick with this side because obviously the weight of the paper, and that's down against a hinge, I think is just going to secure it a little bit better. But again, it is just trial and error with a lot of this stuff. So I'm just going to take off the little one. Now, because I'm going to try and line it in with it, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here, because I might just need a little bit of wiggle space just to try and get it lined up where the edge is. So because as I've said before, this red liner tape is not very forgiving, so I want to line up that edge with this one. I want to give myself a tiny little bit of a gap, so that's sort of lined up, and there we are. Okay, how's that looking? Does that look fairly straight? It's not too bad. I can probably, that's it, just crease that down just to give me that nice cleaner finish. Okay, and now I'm just going to do the side parts again. So it's really good to make sure that you've got the right tape and the right glue for the job that you're doing. You know, as my granddad would say, you've got to have the right tools to do the right job, otherwise it's not going to happen. Okay, right, here we go. I'm just going to fold that over gently and just push that down like so. So I've got a nice straight edge on there. That's given me a nice gap there, and then finally this last one is just going to come on there. So what I wanted when I originally designed this is that I just didn't want somebody to put something through the top and go right through to the bottom, because I've got that on my index stacked pocket. I thought, well, if you've got little bits, then perhaps you want a little pocket to put it in, and that's why I created this bit. But then I left it so that you had a big enough gap to put a photo in, or like one of the little cards and that, you know, that you can sort of decorate on the side there. So I wanted it that if you pop something in, it's not going to go any further. It hits that bottom, and then you've got this pocket at the bottom here as well. That was my process of thought there. So as I'm coming around here, I just want to make sure this is going to line up against this one. So I'm going to do this side first again, and then we'll do the second side once we've got this lined up. So I'm just going to pop that on there, just trying to make sure, again, I'm just giving it a tiny little gap between the two, making sure I've got it lined up along that edge. There we are, like so. And then I'm just going to come in and do the other part here. There we are. And we'll get this, I'll just take this bit off. Fabulous. Although this stuff does stick like anything, I'll say it all the time. Red liner tape, it's good, but it is very static. Okay, and then just coming down this side, and we're just going to line that in like that. And that literally is our our next pocket. So like I said, very basic, isn't it? Just pockets and the stacked part. You know, it's not rocket science. It looks really, really effective once it's all decorated and you've got your little ephemera bits and pieces in there and everything. But you know, once you know how to do the basics, yeah, then just get creative. Okay, so that is pocket number 4. So we've just got one pocket that I was aiming left to do this evening. So we are certainly cooking with gas tonight. We've certainly zoomed our way through it. So this one I'm going to put on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that page out of the way. Now this is the double envelope pocket. All right, and I like to make sure that when I do any of my lives or videos, if you don't have a certain tool or gadget to make it, that I want to be able to show you how to do it without. Okay, and I'll be honest that when I made my envelopes, I used an envelope maker. All right, an envelope scoreboard thing which I've got down here, which I'll show you how to do. But if you don't have one, I'll also explain how to make one without. Okay, so you just get a choice of the two then. So these pieces are cut at 6 inches by 6 inches, and then I've got a little 3 by 4 inch card, because if I was going to put photos in it, that is the size that I was going to use, and that's what I'm going to use to show you how to make one of these if you don't have one of these score or punch boards. Okay, so this is my envelope punch board. Comes from We Are Memory Keepers. Okay, and you know, if you can afford to get one of these are great, especially if you do a lot of card making or making albums and stuff like that, because it's really quick and easy. And what I like about it is that it does give you the directions on here, and it also gives you all the card sizes and the paper size as well. So if you was making like we are making a 3 by 4, so we want a 3 by 4 inch card, it will tell you what the paper size needs to be in order to house it. Hence why I've gone for a 6 inch by 6 inch. So I just think that's really, really a nice, easy guide. Plus as well that, you know, any of these measurements, if you didn't have one of these, you know, dare I say, Google it, and you can see what the what the score lines and sizes and that are, and then obviously you can make them up yourself. But it also comes with its own bone folder as well, or scoring tool. Okay, so if you've got one of these, or you have got one of these and you've never used it, what are you doing? Because they're really, really useful. So we're just going to go through here. So it says here, select the card side, trim the paper to the correct size, which is what I've done. Then it says align the left edge to the score line. Okay, so when that goes in, and my score line here it's very tiny, is 2 inches and 5/8. So there's my 2 inches and there is my 5/8. Okay, and then once I've done that, I align this up and I'll just literally score that down. But once I've scored that down, I need to also punch it, hence the name, it's a punch board. So it gives you that bit which is going to help with the fold. Okay, then I'm going to turn that round, and then this score line comes in line with this edge here that's sticking out here. So that's my score line there, and I repeat the process, and I punch that, and again it's got that. So now you can see the flap bit emerging, and then I'm going to come around again. I'm going to line that up. It's probably a bit hard to see it on the black, but it's definitely, the score line is definitely in line with that. I'm going to come down, whoops, come down, run that through, and punch like so. And then the final one, I'm going to line that up like so, score down on there, and give that a punch. And that is my basic envelope, and then I would fold it in. Now the beauty of these as well is on this side you've got the corner round a bit. So let's just move these tiny little bits out here. So to give it a nice neat finish, I can just tuck that in and punch it down and it corner rounds it. And I can do the same on all those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is using the punch tool, okay, the punch board. All right, and then obviously I would just fold these like so, and then I would glue down 3 sides, and then that basically is my envelope. So those will go in. I'd put some tape down there, that comes across, and then there's my envelope. Okay, so quite nice, neat finish. Now, if you didn't have one, obviously I've got my 3x4 inch card, and when I pop that in there, that's almost given me about just under an eighth of an inch all the way round. So what you can do is turn the card here and actually have that placed on there to the center, okay, and then you can just very lightly draw a pencil mark around it, and then you can get your scoreboard and or your scoring tool or your bone folder and literally just score round where that pencil mark is, so it comes round, and then you can fold it over, and then if you've got a corner round, you can round off your edges as well. And that's probably one of the easiest ways of trying to do that. And to be honest, any size card or anything like that, you can do exactly the same. So literally, yeah, just line it up in there, make sure it's even all the way round, so you've got the even gap to the edge there. Draw around it, just come slightly out a little bit, score it, as I said before, all the way round, and then corner round those, and then I would just snip out, because here you're going to have a little score line here, so you would cut out that little triangle bit there, and the same on all the 4 corners, and then it will fold over. All right, so that's how we'll do that. But I'm just going to finish this one off on here. So it was 2 5/8. So again, to line that up, going to come down, let's just punch that, and then round again, line that up. I'll punch that one on there first, there we go, and then come round. So if you've got lots of envelopes to make, these are definitely worth investing in. And just come round, they just make life so much easier. And I'll be honest, we are memory keepers, do come up with some fantastic gadgets to help with any sort of your crafting needs, so do check them out as well. And then we're just going to corner around these like so, and then the final one on there. Okay, we'll just get rid of those bits. All right, so we are almost done. So I'm just going to fold these like so. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little bit of bookbinding glue on here, because my red liner tape I've got to hand at the moment is a little bit on the wide side. But if I just run that down that inside edge like so, it's the beauty of this glue, you can see it really clearly against the black. And then I'm just going to fold that over and hold that down in place just for that to dry for a couple of seconds. And that, but these are really lovely, these little envelopes. Okay, and there we are, and that's it. And then that folds over, and then I can just give that a really nice burnish with Bernie. Just make sure that all sits on. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side, on the other one. There we are. So just fold those in, run a little bit of glue up to that point, a little bit down there as well. hold those in, fold that down, just hold that in place for a minute. Is that one stuck? Is that stuck? Yeah, I'll just hold my hand down on those for a minute. There we go. And once these are done, then we're just going to attach them to our page. Now, when I made my envelopes, I used little Velcro dots to hold down the flaps, okay? But it's up to you. Because what you could do is you could decorate these with pattern paper if you made them in the black that I've made the card in, or you can use your pattern paper and make your envelopes directly out of the patterned paper, and then you won't need to decorate them. But it's, you know, obviously again it's your personal choice. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pop these on our page like so. And then I'll leave a little bit of a gap so I can put some paper and stuff on there as well. So you can do them as I've done in the black or pattern paper. It's totally up to you. And because these are sticking on here and people are going to be opening it and pulling it out, I'm going to add a little bit of red liner tape to the back of these just so it's nice and secure. So let's just pop a little bit on. Oh, I've lost my end. There we go. Let's just tuck a little bit on there. And the scissors. Okay. Let's just do this other one. I'm just going to put one down the middle. I'm going to do the same on the other side, on the other one. There we are. Where are we? So these are handy, these little envelopes for putting any little trinkets in. So perhaps you make this album for maybe a travel album, maybe for a holiday or something. And you might want to pop little tickets or something in here, you know, which is really quite sweet. Or if you're making it as a baby album, I don't know, you might want to pop in maybe the first curl of hair or something, you know, whatever little keepsakes you've got that you can do. So here we go, the last little bit then. So I'm just going to work out roughly where this is going to go in. So I'm giving myself about 1/8 of an inch in from the hinge and about the same on the bottom, and then I'll do the same at the top. And although I've put red liner tape on it, I am going to stick just a little bit of glue across these because, again, I just want a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that they, I can line them up properly and that they stick as well in the middle part of it. So we'll put a little bit on there. Here we are. Bit of glue. A squeaky bit of glue. Okay, and we'll do one envelope at a time. Okay, here we are. Right, the next bit, we're just going to flip that over. Just going to drop that in, 1/4 of an inch in, or 1/8 of an inch, depending on how far you want to come across, but I'm going for 1/8, I think. There we are. Making sure I have got my envelope up the right way as well. Okay, just checking. I'm just going to stick that down. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same at this side. Now I'm going to do this one upside down because it just makes it easier to find the line on here. So we're just going to take our glue off again. And again, here we are. And then our final bit of glue on here. I'll just wiggle that round. Squeaky, squeaky. That's it. A little bit of glue in the middle. And then our last little bit. Okay, now this time this one is going upside down because I've got the page upside down. I'm just going to line that in. I'm coming in about 1/8 of an inch around that edge. like so. There we are. I'm just going to pop that down as well, and then we'll just give that a little burnish. If I turn that round up the right way, and there we are. We've got our 2 envelope pockets. So, can you believe it? I mean, I can't believe it. We've zoomed through these really, really quickly. Just goes to show that once you've got everything cut out, what you can achieve just in an evening. So let's just have a recap of what we've done. So we did our fold back page. Okay. We did our acetate pocket with the gusset. Okay, so you know, you can put a few bits in there if you wanted to, so that was really good. Then we did the other little side acetate pocket, nothing on the back because I'm going to add another page to that next time. Then we did our pocket at the bottom and our little mini stacked pocket, and then our 2 envelope pockets there. So that is pretty much it for this evening. This is what the pockets are going to look like once you decorate them up. There's the acetate gusset pocket here. Obviously I've got paper in the back there, and I've got a nice sort of big photo mat that goes in, so you can see that. You can see I've sort of decorated around the frame. Here we've got, let's move that over a bit, the fold back pocket, so you can see how I've decorated it. What I did was on here, let me just find it, is that I cut the paper out the size, the complete size, because it was double-sided, the paper. So the bit that I cut off for there, I then used to cut in here, so I didn't waste any. And then the paper that I've used at the back is what I've used to tuck in, which helps cover up all those folds on the inside, so it just gives it a nicer, neater finish. So that's what I did for that one. And then here we are. This is the little envelopes which we've just done. So obviously you can see I've used a pattern paper on that, but on this one I've just done it in black. But again, you can decorate it. You can perhaps put little panels of pattern paper on there, and then I've just used Velcro dots, and you can just sort of tuck in there, and I've just filled the corners with some paper. Then let me just flip over. Oh, oops, there we go. Then this is the side acetate pocket, so let me just take that out. So again, I've put a frame round the edge of that. You can see you've got the nice little image, and again, when I cut the paper out, I've slid that in to the pocket, which again gives a nice neat finish on the inside as well. So that's what we did for that. And then that one we did last week, that one we haven't done yet. Let's move over, and here is the little pocket here, which is what we did. So you've got the base pocket at the bottom, and then you've got the tiny little pocket here, and as you can see, I've got a couple of tiny little tabs that I've just sort of tucked in there. They can tuck over there, and as you can see, I've made that gap as a little photo mat as well, so you can pop a photo in there. And that, I do believe, is that for this evening. Okay, so I will be, obviously this will be uploaded. I'll aim to get it all uploaded onto YouTube, so you can go in and have a little look and make those to your heart's content whenever you have time to do that. Next week we are going to be making another 5 pages. That's what I'm aiming for next week. So we're going to do the waterfall one, the chevron, or perhaps you might want to call it the bunting waterfall, because that's what it looks like. We're going to do a diagonal pocket and the corner pockets, the photo corner pockets. We're also going to have a go with the tricky one, the little plait pocket, okay, and the envelope pocket flap as well. So that's what I'm aiming to do for next week. So all I'll say for tonight is keep warm, keep yourself hydrated, lots of hot chocolate because it is freezing out there. enjoy your crafting, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. So thanks for watching. Oh, and don't forget to check out craftywafty.co.uk if you're after the lovely 49er Market Evergreen season range that I've used here on the album. And also we've got lots of other paper ranges as well, so do check that out as well. All right, take care. Have a pleasant evening. Bye.